This is Renna from Walking Shadows Cosplay, here to tell you the basics of this great material called Sintra. First, what is Sintra? Sintra is an expanded PVC foam sheet, which essentially means it's poster board and PVC mixed together. This is a sheet of Sintra right here. It looks just like white poster board, but it's a little bit different. It's hard, and it's fairly rigid. When you get really big like this, you can see it bends, but you do have to put effort into bend it. And when you get into the smaller, more detailed pieces, or even something half this size, it gets a lot harder to bend. So why do you want it? First of all, Sintra is a thermoplastic, which means it bends with heat. So you can apply heat to Sintra, bend it into the shape that you want, and it'll stay that way once it cools down. It's also very strong. Like I said, it's rigid, so this is a good alternative to craft foam if you think foam is going to be too floppy or might dent or something. It's also quite easy to sand. It acts a lot like wood, so if you make a mistake, you can sand off the edges. I know I've had to do that before, and it's been a really big help. Now, what kinds of Sintra are out there? There are quite a few kinds, but they're all very, very similar. Sintra comes in varying thicknesses. From, I think I've seen as little as like 1 millimeter up to like ½ an inch. Just to note, Sintra really can't be cut by hand if it's any wider than 3 millimeters. 3 millimeters is what I use, and I really like it. You can just cut it with a box cutter, and it works great. Irene, my cosplay partner, does not like to cut Sintra by hand. So even with 3 millimeter, she will use a craft saw, which totally works. You want to be careful though, because if you get into the thinner types of Sintra and you use a saw, there's possibilities of cracking. It also comes in different colors. The two most popular that I've seen are black and white. I prefer white because it's easier to paint afterward, but a lot of people prefer black because if you ever get any scratches in it, it just looks like antiquing. Whereas if you get scratches in white, it can look more like a mistake. But again, it's also a lot easier to paint over if you get a scratch. So where can you get it? There are a number of websites that are just for Sintra, and I'll put some links to those down in the description. However, those are really, really pricey. That's probably what stopped me from getting Sintra for a really long time, is because I was going to have to invest like $100 into something I had never used before. Sintra is generally used in making signs, so if you can find a local sign shop that has Sintra, there's a good chance they might sell it to you. I wasn't able to find any sign shops that would sell me Sintra, so I went to my favorite place to buy random crafting supplies, eBay. I was able to get 5 sheets of this size for only $30, including shipping. That's not bad. That's only $6 a sheet. So some downsides to Sintra. There are definitely downsides. First, it doesn't do compound curves. So if you wanted to do anything round, like a breastplate or a mask, Sintra is not going to be the material for you. You can bully it into doing compound curves, but it'll crease and it won't quite be perfectly round or bent right. It's probably not the best way to go. I would suggest using something like Warbla or paper mache for that. It also lets off fumes. Since it is PVC, when you heat it up, it's going to let off fumes, and there are some studies that say these fumes cause cancer. I think that's a little extreme, but I wouldn't use it inside. You need to be well ventilated. I like to heat it up outside where the fumes can just drift away. I really don't smell it. I also use a mask sometimes if I'm feeling nervous or if I have to do it inside. If you do have to do it inside using the oven, open the windows. Open the windows, open the doors, open everything you can, and think about it. Because if you make food in your oven and you're putting this in your oven, just weigh the pros and cons here. I would recommend a heat gun. Heat guns are my friend. Also, a downside is also an upside in that it is so strong and rigid. So if it were to take an impact, it might crack. It is pretty strong and it can take some abuse, but a strong impact could crack or shatter it, whereas craft foam probably isn't going to shatter. But that's it. I love Sintra. I've used it for automail, armor. Irene has used it for a sword. It's really versatile and really handy. If this video hasn't been enough for you, I recommend checking out my other video in which I take you through my whole automail arm build for Lawn Fawn. As soon as that is up, I will put a link somewhere on your screen. So look for it. If it's not there, check in the description. If it's not there, I probably haven't posted it yet. Alright everybody, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy Sintra. It is a wonderful material. Bye! I'm back. I thought you might actually like to see something made out of Sintra, so I grabbed the two closest things that I had. These are both things that I used for my Marth cosplay. First, here is the sheath. The main part of the sheath is made of wood, but all of the accent pieces are made of Sintra. So I was able to make these bands. They're just strips of Sintra and then bend them around the wood. It is a solid piece of wood. It is not a true sheath. But by making this little divot in the piece of Sintra, I was able to make it look like you could actually go down inside it. You can see it just ends. And the end cap is also made of Sintra that's just been glued together. Yay, super glue. The bigger thing I made that's pretty much all Sintra is right here. This is the chest plate for Marth. Now, remember I said it doesn't really do compound curves? Here on the chest, there are very, very, very slight compound curves. It's just pushed. So I was talking more like circles, but it's really fun. You can see it's got multiple layers. The gold part is raised. I was able to make it so that these lift up and down just by gluing on elastic. I was able to put straps on the back so it does actually strap onto my body like his does. So yeah, that's just one of the amazing things that Sintra can do. Have fun with your projects. Okay, bye-bye now.